Hey guys, Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate you. You know, they say in life, you only get out of it what you put into it. And the thing that I realize in life is I'm trying to make sure I get everything I can out of each and every day. Watch the Senior Bowl, cook dinner that I did as a live stream, and now to be able to set tonight while I'm in bed sleep, I'm going to epoxy resin all of these cutting boards right here. Um, this is something I'm new at. This is actually really, really cool, but it's basically 3 layers it takes to get this done because of the carbons. The cool thing on this is that you get depth in the cuts. So you see that clearness that's in there. That's what's really, really cool. And so now I'm going to put the final coat on here. Now, again, I'm learning this as I go along. And what I've done is first I go through, I learned this the hard way, is you want to go through and basically brush on a real thin layer to seal the wood and let that dry. Now, technically, what you can do is you can come back and put another coat in on 4 hours. I'm kind of doing this at the end of the day and before, so that way I have overnight to let it dry. So I did that first coat, which ended up sealing it up because I learned the hard way with the wood actually has oxygen in the pores. When you use the um, not propane, the hair dryer, the heat gun, it'll heat it up, and sometimes you'll get more and more bubbles. And the more you heat it up, the more bubbles you get. I found that out on this one over here. That's why we ended up recarving on the other side, but that one will be for me to use. So you do that first coat, then you shouldn't put more than they said a centimeter. Well, this is a good almost half an inch deep into the wood. So you pour some of that on there, and I get a little bit all the way around on top of it. Now what I do is I'm making basically like a lake. So that's why I've gone around here with the blue tape, and I'm going to pour enough in here that it will make one nice flat level pour on there. Then come some, well, tomorrow after it cures, I'll pull the tape off, and I'll take the router and I'll route a round over on it, and then I can go from there to polish it. Now, I am a guy who loves tools. I absolutely positively love tools. And the reason you see me with the gloves and the respirator on here is this is supposed to be non-toxic, fumes-wise, but I can kind of feel it when you use the heat gun on here. And definitely, the thing I also found out too is the epoxy itself. If you get this on your skin, you don't want to use like alcohol or paint thinner because it'll make it absorb in your skin where it can do damage. The other thing we also found out too, and this is really important, is when you're sanding, you've got to wear a respirator and you need dust extraction. What I've actually done, I'm a big DeWalt tool guy, and I found out now for the hammer drills, they have a battery powered extraction unit. So it's got a little backpack, but it's made to suck up like the chips and stuff when you're using the hammer drill, because they make some really bad silica dust that really, literally cuts your lungs and will kill you. And now the EPA is making you use these things. Well, it's also, you can also use that with your sanders. So I actually ordered one. It'll be here tomorrow, and I'm going to be using that and doing more wet sanding than anything else. That way it keeps the dust and stuff down. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead, put our little mask here on. We're going to mix this and we're going to pour this. And then we are going to be done. The nice thing is I found I bought these I usually buy for cooking, and the problem is with the pandemic they ran out of the lids. They didn't have any more of the lids, and I have not seen it in the store anymore. So I got a couple of sleeves of these. These are perfect for actually mixing up more of the resin here. So you got to make sure that it is equal parts here. Bad thing on this stuff is not cheap. This stuff is, that's $90 for a gallon of this. The other thing I'm doing too, I hate to do it in the wintertime, but I have an exhaust fan up there to make sure I don't get any fumes in the house. Let's go and do it this way. Now it's supposed to be self-leveling, which is good. And the other thing you have to do is you got to use the hair dryer or heat gun to get the bubbles out. And so I'm trying to get about an 1/8 inch layer on these. I'm still new at this and still learning. Let's mix up for some more. Before we do that, get the air bubbles out. Now, we always want to start with fresh cups to make sure our measurements are exact. Interesting, isn't it? So I will go around and make sure. Let's see, I've got a couple little spots where it's not quite there. It adds a little bit more into there. But I'll go through here and we'll get all of these covered tonight and then wait 24 hours and we'll be able to start finishing them. It's exciting, isn't it? Can never have enough outlets in the workshop. Okay, we're almost there.